Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first webinar from TFP Financial Planning in a series of webinars that we are going to be looking at all things financial planning and all things, in particular, retirement planning and the challenges, opportunities that retirement does present. So the purpose of today's webinar is to look at how to build a vision for your retirement. What I'm going to cover today really is we're going to look at the problems with not having a vision for your retirement. We're going to look at the benefits of having a vision and then how to build that vision for retirement. Now, this is foundational stuff. Many people don't think about what life after work looks like. They focus too much on what they're retiring from and not what they're retiring to. So with that, the problems that we see really for people that don't spend time on building their vision before they step away from their career are really through three lenses. We've got the money lens, time, and happiness. And really, without a vision, I think people really struggle to understand how to spend their money, what to spend their money on, and really what's important to them. And same goes for time. We struggle to think about how we're going to spend our time, what we want to spend our time on, because we haven't thought about this prior to stepping away from work. And then ultimately that reflects in our happiness. We all want to try and be happy and live a happy, healthy, wealthy retirement. But if we haven't built the vision around what and how we want to spend our money and time, it really does have a big impact on our happiness. So I think one of the challenges really that we do face is that we end up with the status quo. So basically what that means is that if we don't understand what our vision looks like, we will continue to do the things that we've always done. Now, the ONS have recently released some statistics. The Office of National Statistics have said that there are about 1.5 million people over 65 that are still in work or actively looking for work in the UK. Now, look, I'm not saying that this is a problem as such. I think retirement really in its entirety is a bit of a dumb concept. We shouldn't retire for something that we like doing. And if work delivers purpose to us, that's fine. But I think what I am saying is that I believe there's a huge chunk of these people that are still in work over 65 because they feel like that's the thing that they've always done. They haven't thought about their vision. They don't understand what their money is going to provide, how they want to spend their time, and they still stick to working. And there are many people that I come across that work far too long and they didn't want to because they haven't thought about what life after work looks like. When it comes to money, there are two things really that we think about, I think, when it comes to life after work. And without a vision, then we either believe that we're going to spend too much money and run out, which is sad and not good. But I think the vast majority of people that I come across actually end up on the second one here. And that is that without a vision, we end up not spending enough and we leave memories and experiences on the table towards end of life. And that really kind of coincides with this. And there's some sketches in this webinar that I've put together. I like putting down thoughts in quite simple ways on paper via my sketches. So if we break down our retirement into three phases, we've got our go-go years, our go-slow years, and our no-go years. And really, this is about saying that, you know, we have a period of time in our retirement that health and time is on our side, that very first phase, that we want to try and spend our money and time on what's most important to us before we start to slow down, and then we go into later life. Typically, those phases, you enter slow down phase in your early to mid 70s, and then we go into later life in our early to mid 80s. Now, the problem is that without a vision, we end up leaving it too late. And we get to a point where our net worth or our money or our valuations far exceed anything that we're going to be able to spend our money on. And then that box highlighted here is we end up leaving memories and experience on the table. We end up losing them. And without that vision, I think, again, we end up not spending our money because we simply don't know what's important to us. And then we end up thinking we're going to run out. When in fact, newsflash for everybody here, there's statistics and research and studies been done for a very long time now in most of the developed countries here, US, Australia, South Africa, where retirement is a bit more of a concept. And these statistics suggest to us that people are far too conservative when it comes to spending their money. And that conservative nature typically comes from no planning work being done on how they want to spend their retirement. So research from the ILC, the International Longevity Centre, found that actually real-time spending declines in retirement by about 1% a year. As people get older, they spend less. A couple aged 80 spends about 43% less than a couple aged 50. Research published from the brilliant Rowena Crawford at the IFS says that people spend far too conservatively in retirement, and all the research that she's done suggests that retirees in their current guise and how they're spending their money are probably going to leave around 70% of their real worth still on the table at age 90, excluding property. Now, another webinar that we're going to do is around don't leave HMRC a tip. Not only are you foregoing memories and experiences, you're also going to end up probably paying more tax than you need to. And then we also worry about this kind of, oh, I need money left for care at the end, so I'm going to leave a load of money on the table for care. And really, there is no sign of this sporadic rising living cost in later life. And I think, you know, care costs are somewhat of a bogeyman, because I think, again, the stats that come out, 20% of people said that that did stay in a nursing home or residential home in the last 2 years of their life, with 32% of those 20% staying for 6 months or more. So if we get to a point where we need care, then it's not for that long. It might be expensive, but we don't need really hundreds of £1,000s left on the table to provide us with care. So again, without that vision, we're far too conservative when it comes to the ability to spend our money on what's most important. When it comes to time, I want to know how you are going to spend your days. In a typical retirement period, you're going to have about 9,000 days with which to spend your time. Now, it sounds quite a lot, but without a plan, those days will tick forward. How many times do we feel like weeks have flown by, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? But if we think back to the drawing I did with the go years, go slow years, no-go years, this is kind of what it breaks down to. If we believe that there is a 10-year window that allows us to spend our money and time on what's most important, then in reality, we're going to have a retirement where health and time is on our side, and we've got about 3,500 days with which to do this before we end up into a period of life where we start to slow down. And those last 1,825 days, I would suggest, are not going to be spent doing a great deal. So how do we believe we're going to spend our time without wasting it or leaving it too late to a point that we're not going to be able to do the things that we really want to do? Because health span is very different to lifespan. Again, another one of my drawings, if we believe that, you know, people are living longer, which we know that they are, people are not necessarily healthier longer. So we kind of tend to focus on the blue line, this lifespan that we, you know, this flat blue line. But in fact, our health deteriorates with time, and we have a limited amount of time with which to really, really reap the benefits of the work that we've put in to our lives over the previous 20, 30, 40 years to give us some sort of ability to step back from work and enjoy our health and our time. And we need a reality check when it comes to understanding that without a vision, we end up not taking advantage of our health. When it comes to happiness, I think it's a really interesting and very subjective subject. But there is a wonderful study that I encourage everybody to look at. It's the 85-year Harvard study. So year in, year out, for the last 85 years, Harvard University have been studying happiness, and through a whole range of different metrics. And they do focus quite a bit on retirement. And the number one predictor to living a happy life in retirement that this study has found wasn't money, wasn't time, wasn't diet, wasn't fitness. It was social connections. So then 85-year Harvard study found that social connections was the number one predictor to living a happy life in retirement. Again, thinking about that vision, how do we replace social connections that we've had through work or clubs or different things when we start to get older, when we have more time? If we believe that we do know that social connections are the number one predictor to living a happy life, a long life in retirement, we want to make sure that our plans and our vision is there, that we have the ability to build new social connections. We have the ability to harvest old social connections, and we have an ability to make sure that our relationship with our spouse is strong and it is communicative, and we make sure that we build on that connection and almost have a new relationship with our partner, because for the first time in a number of years, we're going to be in a position that we've got time to be able to spend together. And it's no coincidence to me that people without a vision are struggling. Couples without a vision are struggling. Divorce rates amongst the over 60s have gone up by 46% in the last decade. Again, no surprise to me. People are entering in one of the most important phases of their life without thinking about what that looks like. And then we think about, how does our money make us happy? Not having more money has been proven to not necessarily make us more happy, but actually there's lots of studies out there that show there are 3 ways that our money can make us happy. And those 3 ways are actually quite easy to think about and simple to execute on if we know what we're going to do and we have that vision. Our money makes us happy by buying our way out of doing the things that we hate and suck up our time. It also makes us happy when we buy new and novel experiences with the people that we love. And money makes us happy by giving it away. If you think about this, we can build a vision. We can build plans around understanding what we don't like doing and what sucks up our time. Chuck money at that. What do we love doing and who do we love doing it with? Put money at that. And who do we want to support? Family, friends, charities, communities. That really does make us happy. So all of that then leads to really me saying, what is the benefits of us having a vision? And the benefits of us having a vision, I think, really lie in this sketch. Our retirement gives us, for the first time in maybe since our childhood, time and freedom. The gift of retirement is the ability to have complete autonomy over our time and our freedom. And you need a vision to be able to execute on that. A vision for your retirement tackles what I believe through the work that I do with clients and all of the research and conversations I've had with experts. It helps tackle the 3 biggest problems in retirement. And those 3 biggest problems are a loss of identity, how you're going to spend your time, and having purpose and passion. And through my sketches, I'm just going to talk about each one of those very, very briefly. I think one of the biggest, if not the biggest challenge when it comes to retirement is the identity crisis. Losing an identity that you've had primarily through your work is one of the biggest challenges when it comes to the retirement transition. And again, a clear plan to enable you to create new identities is both exciting and hugely rewarding. You need to look at all of those things that work has given you and what identity work has provided for you. And there are things that you might want to let go of, but there are absolutely things that need to be replaced. And this is not about creating one new identity. The best retirements I see where there's a vision to create multiple identities. It might be a grandparent, a golfer, a gardener. It might be other things, but making sure that your identity is now changing and there is a vision and an understanding about what your identity is. If someone asked you, what do you do? And you're retired, you can't answer with I am you can't answer with the job. If someone asked you that question in retirement, what would you say? It's a really exciting and rewarding part. As I said, time and freedom is now on your side to create these identities that you've always wanted to be. So a vision absolutely helps in this. When it comes to our time, I think we have the ability to now paint. You've got a blank canvas to paint, and you feel like you get to a point where you've accumulated enough knowledge, enough experience, enough money, enough resilience. And you get to a point where now this opportunity in front of you is blank. A vision enables you to paint that blank canvas to ensure that you do enough before it's over and it's too late. It's one of the main benefits of having a vision. How you spend your time is going to be aligned with what's most important to you. And when it comes to purpose and passion, I think we all need purpose to pull back the duvet in the mornings. Work gives us that purpose. Whether that purpose is enjoyable or not is another question. But actually in retirement, we have the ability to shape that purpose and make sure it's enjoyable. And there's a lot of research done on purpose. And really, purpose can be broken down into two areas: actively pursuing new goals and enjoying experiences in the present moment. Think about what retirement can do. Time and freedom on our side to actively go and pursue new goals and to really, really enjoy the present moment, doing the things that we love doing. So a vision absolutely helps with that. So I hope that's all makes sense. What I want to do now is spend a few minutes on thinking about how to build this vision for retirement. Now, the work we do here, we have a workbook, a retirement workbook, where we have a number of exercises to help to build that vision, as well as some other things. And that workbook will be available to everybody and is part of our retirement toolkit, which I'll get onto in a second. But there's a few exercises that I want to share with you now that you can take away with you and think about how to start building that vision. So really what I suppose one of the things to do first up is to start to visually represent things that you want to do. What does retirement mean to you? And these are headings that we've come up with where through our experiences, this is kind of what people say. Do you want to travel? Do you want to learn new skills? Do you want to get more involved in the community? Do you want to do more education? Take on new challenges, new sports, etc., etc., etc. One of the things that you need to do is sit down and think about what that looks like. Visually look at these things and go, right, I want to do more travel. I want to spend more time with my family. I'd love to get more involved with the community. I'd love to go back to school and think about, re-educating on a particular subject or topic I've always wanted to do. And I think, typically between 4 and 6 things are what you want to do. You don't want to overload the brain to start with. And then it's about bringing that vision to life. What you would then want to do is go, right, I want to travel more. What does that mean? And how are you going to make it happen? Where do you want to go? And why do you want to go there? And how are you going to do that? from a point of view of time and money. And you kind of bring those 4, 5, 6 things across and you start to note these down. I think the best visions are written in pencil, not carved in stone. Things you can rub out, things that you can jot around. We don't want to make these things so rigid. We want some flexibility in them. But really, what you need to start with is thinking about what does it mean to you and how are you going to do it? Secondly, I think we need to then think about, and I mentioned it earlier on, what are you retiring from and to? Too many people that I work with initially have focused on what they're retiring from. They're either in a job that they don't like, or they've come to the end of their career, they're on the wind down, and all they're going is, I need to get away. I need to stop what I'm doing now, and that's it. That's all I'm focusing on. And what they don't do is focus on what they're retiring to. And that's a real problem, because as soon as you leave this thing, the world's your oyster, it's very big, and you don't know what you're doing, as we've said before. So one of my favorite exercises to do is to think about what you're retiring to, because it's often more important what you're retiring from. And we need to understand kind of the non-financial benefits of work to understand what you need to kind of replace. So 2 categories here: retiring from. What are you going to miss, and what are you not, and what won't you miss? Because I think work provides us with a number of things that we don't kind of give it credit for. If we focus too much on the negatives, we forget the positives, and we don't end up replacing them when we retire. So think about what you're going to miss and what you won't miss, and jot them down. And then think about what you're retiring to. What are you looking forward to when you've got time and freedom on your side? But also, what are you anxious about? That time and freedom actually does provide us some anxiety, as does our money. So think about these things. What are you going to miss and won't miss from where you are now? And what are you looking forward to, and what are you anxious about? And then start to build the vision around that. Too many people don't understand, again, what they're going to. So this retire to thing, I think it's really important to think about what life would look like when you've got complete control of your time. And a real great exercise that I do is to think of splitting every week into kind of 3 phases: morning, afternoon, and evening. And you jot down 2 or 3 things that you want to do. Not every box has to fill out. It might be that Wednesday afternoons is golf with your friends. It might be Monday mornings is lunch with breakfast with your ex-work colleagues. Sunday evenings might be complete chill out, because I've got no stress about getting up early on the Monday for the commute, so I can enjoy a glass of red wine on a Sunday evening. I think it's really important to think about what this looks like. Too many people do not write this stuff down and do not have some sort of direction of travel when it comes to the week that they want to spend in retirement. Because ultimately, all of this basically comes down to this one slide. Our vision for retirement will allow us to follow a blue line, not the red line. And you notice that the go-go years, go slow years, no-go years are back. But without a vision and without an understanding, most retirees will follow the red line. They have reduced spending and less fun during their go-go years. They have reduced giving and less joy during their go-slow years. And they have higher spending and increased taxes during their no-go years. They've given up, they've increased their net worth to a point where, you know, all of their money, if not spent properly, taxes go up. They've got much more money. They leave a load more on the table. Inheritance tax is through the roof, etc., etc., etc. The ideal spending pattern comes with a vision. The blue line is increased spending and more fun during your go-go years, increased giving and more joy during your go-slow years, and ultimately lower spending and less taxes during your no-go years, because you've executed your vision early. Follow the blue line, not the red line. So that's it from me. I hope this has been really helpful. We have a number of free resources that we've put together that look even deeper into this conversation that we've had today. We've got the 7-step retirement toolkit that you can download through the QR code here. I am the host of the Humans versus Retirement podcast, where I look at the behavioral, emotional, and financial challenges of retirement. And I've had some amazing guests from across the globe, experts in a variety of fields that tackle these challenges. Highly recommend listening, and the QR code to get to my podcast page is there, available on all major platforms. And then the Humans versus Retirement website that has the podcast on, but also has my blogs and a lot of my sketches that I've shared with you today is there. So these are free for you to go to download and to look at. If you did want to book a call with me to talk about your retirement and how to build your unique vision, then please do so. The QR code is there to do. Scan that on your phone. If not, please do get in touch. And I very much look forward to having those conversations with you. That's it all from me. I hope this was really, really informative. I hope it did provide you with some thoughts and some understanding and some ideas around how to build that vision for your life after work. Looking forward to bringing to you the next webinar in a month or so time. Until then, take care.